UnionBank.com to get started.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Hello. Believe it or not, old phones are one of the most common pain points in offices today. Many of these phones are beyond repair because parts aren't available to fix outdated devices. Whether it's a traditional phone system or cloud-based VoIP technology, Hamilton Business Phones can help upgrade your connection. We make it easy to sync your office phone with your cell for seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you deserve better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
It's good to be back. We're back. We've been away for a while. We've been on a break, but we're back. And I'm DP. Next to me, Coach Renee Saunders, Dick Sainert running the board here for us. And then we've got Harrison Arns back at the mothership, making sure that everything sounds the way it should in a rematch of what was an adventurous trip. Coach Renee didn't get to make that trip.
I never got to see the top of the Grand Rapids scoreboard.
Oh, man, you didn't get to see it. But it was an interesting – I know you watched the match from set one, but before we get into tonight's matchup and going back and revisiting Columbus, Grand Rapids and what it was, the league currently sits with Atlanta at the top, Omaha right behind them, and then because of recent events, Grand Rapids has moved ahead of Columbus into the third spot. And I was talking with Nick before, and I said, if the playoffs started today, this would be the matchup. As a matter of fact, this would be the location for the matchup.
Hallelujah.
Of the 8-4 Supernovas and the 6-5 Rise. So are you surprised by Grand Rapids and their run? They're on a win streak. The roster kind of forming itself. Is there any surprise to this?
I think we're going to see this in every team. You know, we haven't seen Grand Rapids for a while. We saw an early season Grand Rapids. Now we're going to see the mid-season Grand Rapids. And then at the end of the season, we're going to see the end of the season Grand Rapids. And there's a chance that maybe we play them May 12th, and then we turn around and we play them May 15th.
Yeah, it could be any of those things. That's my echo. Don't panic, Nick. I know you're on it, bro.
I was like, I hear myself.
Yeah, no. It was the thing. I had the laptop as we stream. We're trying to get things organized here, and again, it's been a while since I've been here, so I had to figure it out. Through all of this, the big news that Omaha has been awarded the semifinals and the finals, and we've been in enough of these venues, and we've seen enough of the teams to kind of recognize what that means. What does that say about Omaha? What does it say about Nebraska and its volleyball fans?
We're volleyball state. Everybody knows it. But you know what? It's not even just volleyball. Like Omaha knows how to put on events. You know, we just had March Madness here in this arena, had the first 2 rounds, a basketball tournament. We have College World Series. The Supernovas have been a hit. Our attendance is the best in the league. I don't know how many of the top attendance spots we have. I think we're top 4.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think Columbus has the next one. Then we have like number 5 and 6, and then Grand Rapids. So, I mean, people show up in Omaha. People love their volleyball in Nebraska, but I think people also love their volleyball in Iowa, and people come over the river to watch it as well. So, you know, it says a lot for the state of Nebraska, and it says a lot for the city of Omaha that the PVF realized that this is the premier place to host the very first championships for the Pro Volleyball Federation.
How do you think that plays out? I mean, with fans who may or may not be familiar, I think that it's going to surprise itself again. That I think it'll set another record for, I think, the whole playoff set. Both games of the semifinal and then the final itself. No matter who gets it, it's going to be impressive. I think it's going to sell out and set a new record.
I hope you're right, and I want to say that that's exactly what's going to happen, because I think Omaha's going to show up and support it. You know, like they want this team to succeed. They want this league to succeed. They're going to make sure the finals are, you know, the players are rewarded for their hard work to get to the finals. People love watching athletes compete, and it's a perfect opportunity to see the best of the best take home the first PVF title.
Nati's giving the wave. We're official. We've made it, Coach.
Hey, if she doesn't do that before a game, I get nervous.
Yeah, like she knows something.
She knows that. That's like part of her little thing, like the routine. She's got to give us a wave before we start.
So much of this has been, okay, first time through, let's see how this plays out. First time through, let's see what the play is. Let's see what the coaching decisions are based on. Let's evaluate the system. What we've noticed is that the B6 system is such a huge part of Pro Volleyball Federation action. Is this the thing of the future that you think that this reaches pretty quickly across NCAA, that this simplifies the game so much for coaches and players?
I love it. I think it would be ideal that every school gets it, but it comes with a hefty price tag. So I think if maybe, you know, Big Ten wanted to institute it, I think they would be able to. But there's some smaller conferences that they're not going to be able to afford a $160,000 camera system, and then the annual renewal of, you know, the people have to watch all the games to send the calls back in, and, you know, the longevity of it. Now, maybe Bolt 6 could run a discount, right? Like NCAA, you know, we're going to have 365 teams invest in the system. Can we get it for $100,000 or whatever it might be? So maybe that'd be something they could negotiate. But I think it is the future of the game.
For you as a coach and former player, you know how much of a burden it takes off of, how much stress it takes off of coaches and players, that you're able to just play the game, coach the game, work within the game, rather than dealing with the humanity of, do you think somebody got a call wrong and the time you spend on it? Like, is that a fair thing that coaches would want this? Or do you think the coaches still like somebody to talk to?
I think the coaches would want it for the speed of it. You know, so the challenge is now the cameras aren't as good. They take forever, and it's running back and forth. And to me, it looks like a blur. I don't know how they can see anything. But I think that the speed of it and the challenges, you know, going faster, and even the players, like, you can sometimes get away with, like, I didn't touch that. And then the system still, it blows my mind how many games I've watched. I'm like, I think we got it wrong, and we had a challenge, right? Like, there's still error in the challenge system right now that we have. And I think that Bolt 6 kind of gets rid of that. I don't feel like there is a lot of error in the new system unless the system breaks. And then it goes back on humans and there's no challenges.
Yeah, and then we know what it is, right? There's no challenge, and it's just the call's the call. But I think there's simplicity in all of it. And it has been an added value for the game, and the appreciation for somebody on my level who's trying to learn it, to have the simplicity of them getting it right makes it just that much more watchable. What are your thoughts of the semifinals and finals being on CBS Sports, on the sports network itself? Like that has got, I mean, I think I don't want to bury the lead, but that's huge.
Huge.
Like, it wasn't that long ago that the NCAA championships couldn't find that space.
Correct.
And now the Pro Volleyball Federation has accumulated so much talent and put together such a good product that on a national level, for the 3 biggest games of the season, it's going to be on CBS Sports Network.
Oh, I just feel like women's sports in general have just blown up since August 30th of 2023. I'll go back to Volleyball Day in Nebraska, and I think that a lot of women's sports and the focal point being on women's sports can be attributed back to that day. And it seemed in the building of it, you really don't know what, the compound effect is going to be, or the ripple effect is going to be of that match. And I think that match has now expedited this process of getting this league first year's, Final Four on CBS Sports. If we don't have Volleyball Day in Nebraska and we don't have all these other things that really are like building up women's sports, I don't know if it goes that route. I think they keep it on YouTube or maybe just see what happens. But even them getting that list of games, I think how many are there on CBS Sports before that? 8?
There will be 8 others.
8 other matches, and I think the Novas play in 3, only 1 at home, unfortunately. But I think we're also on the road a lot during that time. But I think that's also going to help because I think all the towns, all the cities that this league is in, they'll show up for a nationally televised game.
Yeah, there is that thing, right? That
it's going to change it.
If CBS is coming to Grand Rapids, there's no way they're just going to show up in the normal numbers.
They show up to Atlanta, they're going to show up. They show up to Grand Rapids, they're going to show up. They might want to make sure they have access for cameras.
Yeah, there are things that are going to have to change. Look, I mean, that's a big part of it too. The growth process and learning what can't happen so that you get it right later. And the key is to get it right eventually, hopefully sooner than later, and to not have to worry about it. I mean, we've been in those cities where it didn't go quite the way we would want it to go. But I think the adjustment is happening. Let me ask you about your young ladies and the vibe around women's volleyball, especially in Omaha. Do your young people pay attention to the Supernovas? Are they moved by this the same way it seems the fans have been?
Yes, I do. I think they're into it. We started our first little fundamentals clinic. It's like K through 4. We have 3 sessions. First one, a bunch of them show up in their Supernova shirts. There's a lot of Catholic shirts, which I love to see. But Supernovas is pretty awesome too.
Right.
And then, a couple others from other camps they have or whatever. But there's support showing up. And so it's getting to the point where like, oh, who's your favorite Supernova? And, this, and they're coming with face paint. And some of them like, we don't know their names yet. So they're still learning the players, but they're excited about it. Their parents are bringing them to games, so the excitement's there. The excitement's building. I think hosting that Final Four and getting 4 great teams here for people to all watch is going to only grow it more.
Yeah, I think, and the fact is, I hope folks who are on the stream, they can actually see your facial expression kind of brighten up at the idea that this is landing. Your young people are getting to it, right? It matters in that. Are you the unofficial ambassador for volleyball, for Supernovas volleyball in Omaha?
I don't know. I want to grow the game, period. Whether that is doing camps in small towns, whether it's like talking this team up to everybody I talk to. I'm like, have you been to a game? Are you going to go to a game? Do you want my tickets? Like, I have 2 tickets. I'll give them away to every single game. I'm not even charging people. I want people to see the product because I think it's that good. And I think it's worth young people seeing and having something to strive to be. So am I the ambassador? I'm the ambassador for volleyball in the state of Nebraska, yes. And I hope that every time I go other places, I'm a positive ambassador in those other places for volleyball in the state of Nebraska, whether that is at the high school level, the club level, the Supernova level, whatever it might be.
I think it's been fantastic.
It's awesome.
Just to hear about it and to watch about it. We had Coach Bird down to the studio this week, and that was exceptional as well. And the reaction, people were like, wait a minute, if we knew she was coming, we would have certainly driven in. And there's a lot of good movement, a lot of the good things happening. We'll throw it a break. We'll come back. I want to get into match number 1, the previous meeting of these 2 teams, and then what it means, because they had a week in between their last match. What are you working on? What are the things that you have to develop? All of those are things we'll talk about when we come back to the pre-match show. It's DP, Coach Renee Saunders. We're about an hour away from first serve. at CHI Health Center. You're listening to the Omaha Supernovas Radio Network and powered by 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies to go along with mild temperatures. See the afternoon high around 68. Tonight, partly cloudy skies expected with an overnight low around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies and more mild temperatures with an afternoon high again around 68. A meteorologist, Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
How do people feel about getting Big Fitness Energy at Planet Fitness for $1 down and $10 a month? They feel as thrilled as a kid the first summer they're tall enough to ride the roller coaster! That's right. When you join Planet Fitness right now, you'll get access to tons of equipment and free fitness training in a clean and spacious club. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for that all-day energy. Download the free Planet Fitness app and join today for $1 down, $10 a month.
Deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. All things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Welcome back, and again, thank you to the fine folks at Mullen Motors for making this happen and letting us bring this to you each and every Supernovas pregame and pre-match. It's important to be able to go on the road and follow this team and get to know them and be a part of what's going on. And next to me, Coach Renee Saunders. And Coach, it is interesting. It is interesting how this league is fluid and just evolves. Teams evolve, players have evolved. It's your first in person with Grand Rapids, but you know the players. Who are the players that stick out in your mind? If you're going to say you're more curious about this player than another, is there somebody on this team that you just go, yeah, I really want to see them in person?
Chaussee,
Yeah.
Dimitrova.
Yeah.
It's real simple. Simone Abbott, also very good player. But really Dimitrova and Chaussee. Like, I remember Chaussee at Louisville, watching her play. She's just so good all the way around. And I know that, one of the keys to his victory is maintaining those two and keep managing them and making sure that they're in a good, we can control what their offense and their production. But I'm excited to see those two play live. It's been a week plus since the Supernovas took the court for live fire, and coming off a win and then going on to break. As a coach, how do you maintain? Are you working? Are you rebuilding during this time, or are you trying to maintain some momentum, some positive force? How do you handle that week? Well, I mean, they had a really quick turnaround from Atlanta to that Orlando match. They didn't really have time to fix the issues in Orlando, or not Orlando, fix the Atlanta issues. Mm-hmm. They could talk about them and kind of set the expectation of what they needed to do, but they weren't able to train and really work it out. So coming into Orlando was a great bounce back game for them to get that win, to literally sweep Atlanta 4-0, which I didn't know if we do that with any teams, right? I figured we'd be 3-1 against most teams, maybe 2-2 against some, maybe even 1-3 against some. But I did not think that we would sweep any teams in this league because it's just so equal and so competitive.
Yeah.
And volleyball is a funny game. You know, sometimes players show up that hadn't showed up all season and they light you up for 20 kills and you just don't expect that type of thing. But having a 2-week break, I think it gave them time to go home, to go on vacations, to go do things outside of Omaha. I think they got to go home the weekend after Orlando. They had a break, I think, and then they had another break this past weekend. But I think they could train. You know, you have opportunities like get in, be like, all right, we need to be better blockers. We need to be more aggressive on attack. We need to, you know, clean up serve receive. We need to work on transition. Kind of prioritize those things that you need to work on, and then set up drills and play and practice to accomplish those things. And so, you know, week 1, maybe after their first break, they focus on defense. Maybe then week 2, you focus on the offense side, and then you start actually like preparing for your opponents. Because now you have, between now and next Thursday, you have 4 matches, 3 at home, 1 in San Diego. So you're also prepping for 4 totally different teams and trying to get better and train and stay healthy and manage jumps and swings and all those things that go with coaching. But I think, you know, I think the 2-week break, which everybody I think in the league gets one at some point, that was ours. And I think, I mean, from my talk with Bird earlier, I think they used it pretty wisely.
Yeah, through it, like in other sports, you know, baseball, there's a pitch count that you have to monitor over this. Swing counts and swing monitoring, allowing things to heal, but staying at the same level that you're working from. How do you manage that? Is that a normal, a regular conversation between coach, player, trainer about how a player's feeling, whether it's showing up in their swings? How do you handle that?
That's all it is communication. You know, communication's the key, is being able to talk through and be like, hey, this person, we need to like limit her on her swings a little bit, like serve, jump, whatever. And one of the practice I was at, Becca had little counters, literally old school, like hand thumb counters.
Yep.
And that's how she was like, pink one was for somebody and purple was for somebody else. And one was jumps and one was swings. And she'd eat a bite of her oatmeal, see him jump, hit the one, see the other one swing, hit the one. And so, I mean, old school way of doing it, but you know, at the time they needed to do that for those players. So I'm assuming that same type of conversation is happening, because you want people to be healthy and you don't want nagging things to become big things.
Yeah, through all of it, right? And because we're around them, there's the natural movement that we get used to seeing. And then there's the uncomfortable movement that we notice when somebody's moving a little differently. They're not as fluid as they are. The training staff for the Supernovas has done an exceptional job of keeping this thing fluid, keeping players on the court, keeping them available. How do you handle that conversation between you and the trainer? I know that some coaches say, I want to know everything. Some coaches will say, I want you to do your job and tell me what's available so I don't have to worry about it. Where do you stand when it comes to that sort of thing?
I trust the trainer. I really do. Like, I mean, obviously I need to know if a player can't play, but I'm not the most sympathetic. Does that make sense?
It depends on the coach, right?
Right. And I mean, I'm sympathetic. Like, I'm not saying I'm a jerk, but at the same time, I don't want to hear about every ache and pain. Like, if you're hurting, you go to the trainer. The trainer takes care of you, and they decide, hey, she's done for a week. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're done for a week. Like, keep score. I call my scoreboard operators or whatever. Like, I will find a role for you. But if you can't help the team and these are nagging things, then we've got to figure something out, right? Like, it's not a big deal. It's not like I haven't had kids that have been pulled. I mean, I've had lots of kids pulled out of practice for a week, for 10 days, for 2 weeks, for even a month sometimes 2 months, because they had nagging injuries that weren't taken care of when they came into our high school season. So when you've got kids that are nagging injuries and they're not performing at the level they need to perform, I'd rather we sit them early, get them healthy, and have them healthy for the end of season. But that's a trainer decision. I'm not an athletic trainer, and I can't feel their pain. So it's kind of it's more of a thing with the player and the trainer, and then the communication back to the coach.
Yeah, I always find it interesting that I mean, no matter the level, that get any two coaches together, their approach to it, their thinking about it is different. And that for professional athletes, I find it so unique that trainers have so much control, and the amount of time that's spent with a player and a trainer may be more than the player and the coach. So the trainer is such a valuable part sometimes it gets lost in the messaging.
Yeah, and we're lucky. We have a great trainer at Scott. So, and we have every year since I've been there. So I trust them. And I think that's part of where I have the viewpoint I have is when you have a fantastic trainer, it just makes it a lot easier for them to make those hard decisions and then get back to me. But if it's something like, hey, she can practice, but let's only keep her back row. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I can do that. Yeah. But I don't want them not have communication, me put them front row, make it worse. That's worst case scenario as a coach.
It is so important. And again, because we have the advantage of being close enough to it, we get to see these things. We'll throw it back. We'll come back. We'll talk about, you know what? Here comes the Rise. They come in at 6-5. How big a game. And I know coaches like to focus on the one. But my goodness gracious, this is a big opportunity for Grand Rapids. We'll talk about that when we come back to CHI Health Center Omaha. You're listening to the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket FM.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular price athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Welcome back, Omaha, Nebraska Supernovas Radio Network. DP, Coach Renee Saunders, as we are about 30 minutes away from first serve between the Rise from Grand Rapids and the Supernovas. Coach, this thing that we talk about, that in a fluid season, and again, it gains a personality because we didn't know what the personality of the season was going to be. And now it looks like as teams evolve that these two teams are going to be in the same neighborhood for quite a while. If you had to define or describe the Rise to the fan that has not seen them, how would you describe this team?
Oh, that's a tough question. Honestly, they match up with us really well athletically. They're strong, pin heavy, but they also have really good middles. Kayla Caffey was on short-term injury reserve for a while, but now she's off of it, so we could see her come back in. I was trying to think back to the first match, and I was so focused on how well we fought back that I lost sight of exactly like what they did well. but I do know that Chassé, Dimitrova are their like 2 go-to players that they're going to be looking to. Ashley Evans, a great setter. Again, very similar pieces to the Supernovas, and when you have very similar pieces, it's a matter of execution when it comes to game time. Who can execute better and stick to a game plan? But they're athletic.
I was trying to pay attention to. There were times when they had Evans and Sponsel on the floor at the same time, on court at the same time, and watching this team be fluid, great decision makers, and my goodness, they got to the floor. It was Dig City.
Yes.
Grand
Well,
Rapids.
Sponsel's like one of the best beach players, and when you're a great beach player, you're going to make a pretty darn good libero because you learn how to read, you learn how to make those moves. You kind of know what the hitter's going to do sometimes before the hitter knows what they're going to do. So Sponsel's going to make a lot of plays, and yes, Evans digs really well for a setter.
Yeah, it was.
Chassé is like another libero back there too. She's another really good ball handler for them.
Let's talk about them in the middle because at middle block they were active and aggressive almost.
Yeah,
it was interesting to watch.
Well, and they had Caffey in at that time,
Mm-hmm.
so a little bit different. Maren Grote, middle blocker from Washington, 6'4", All-American, 2 Final Fours under Keegan Cook. Great, well-experienced player. Okay, opposite of her was Kayla Caffey at the time, who Nebraska fans will know, but she came from Mizzou, went to Nebraska, and then finished out her career at Texas. Won as runner-up national title another year. Fan favorite because she's a little undersized, jumps really well, super active wrist, can make those hard cuts. Fantastic player. But they've been playing Alyssa Jensen, who is a middle blocker for Michigan State, who actually played for Kathy George in college, had been out a little bit, came back, is now playing and starting for them. So we're going to see a little different look of Grand Rapids. Most of the pieces are going to be the same, but the middles will be different.
Nick is sneaky. He just he slides in.
I know. I had to make sure I was smiling. And I didn't have my mean face on. My game face on.
Your coach's game face, which I would imagine is its own thing.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah, that you could reach across the room and without saying a word, make a complete statement.
I try to smile, but sometimes I'm zoned in.
Coach, you've won 9 straight state titles. What are you not smiling about?
I try to smile a lot at state. I don't want them to ever think I'm worried or scared or upset.
No, you've seen the Matrix. You understand. You've figured it out. I think if you're not smiling, I don't know what anybody else is doing.
I need to be more like Elf. Be like, smiling's my favorite.
It's my favorite. Like, it's how I live. Like, it was a thing in this, and spending more time with Coach Bird, it's been a thing, right? That you learn the personalities of folks and how they're going to deal with it. If to ask you about Kathy George, define Kathy George as an athlete coach.
Legend.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I could do one word with her. I mean, I remember way back when she started coaching. I'm friends with some coaches up in Michigan who are very close with her from obviously her Michigan State days. And I have never heard a bad word from another coach come out of their mouth about Kathy George.
No.
I mean, she's the real deal. She's a heck of a competitor. She doesn't mess around, but she's a fantastic coach. And from what I understand, a fantastic human being.
Style of play under Coach George.
Aggressive. Like they're gonna get after it, and they're not gonna give up. And she's gritty as a coach, and I think they're gritty as a team.
You made me think back to Grand Rapids and how this went down, and I just remember thinking these sets are never going to end. I mean, one was 33-31. I believe the other was 30-28.
Yep.
And that even at set point, you could not. I was not sure that they were going to figure out answers. It was just 2 sluggers in a box, in a closet, just having at it. And then that thing that happened that you talk about, service runs, only happened in the beginning of sets. At the end of sets, everybody locked down, everybody shut down, and it was almost serve for serve. It was crazy to watch. How do you manage that? I mean, within the game, you can't program it, and you can manage runs, but not really.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Like the goal is to manage runs so that you don't have those runs against you. But if you're the offensive team, right, or defensive team, because you'll be serving, you're on defense first, that would be your job is to out defense the other team so that you can hold serve and get it again. When this game went to rally scoring, like old school scoring, for those of you that remember it, it was a game to 15. You only scored when you were serving.
Yeah.
When it switched to side out scoring and a point scored every single time the ball crosses the net, the emphasis became on siding out, right? Which I think it was to begin with. But I feel like really the emphasis needs to still be on holding serve so you can create separation. But when you get into the end of a game, players are locked in. Like they know that they have to execute and get that side out because a service run at endgame could be lethal. And then on the other side of it, as a server, you want to stay aggressive and you want to try to get that run, even if it's just a one. If you just hold serve for one, that gives you a 2-point win.
It was the difference, and I was talking to Nick before on the way up here, and just that the first match was really who got on a run for the final 3 points of a set, because they were going to get to 22 each, and then it was okay. Can you get a server that gets you an extra service point?
Once you get to 23, it's side out hold serve.
Oh,
it is side out hold serve.
It was just remarkable to watch. So again, we're about 30 minutes before first serve here. Folks are starting to find their way into CHI Health Center. I'm DP Coach Renee Saunders next to me. We'll throw the break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Supernovas and this what we think the starting lineup will be. Some of the players, how they're doing, and how they're going to approach facing the 6-5 Grand Rapids Rise. You're listening to the Supernovas Radio Network.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hello. Believe it or not, old phones are one of the most common pain points in offices today. Many of these phones are beyond repair because parts aren't available to fix outdated devices. Whether it's a traditional phone system or cloud-based VoIP technology, Hamilton Business Phones can help upgrade your connection. We make it easy to sync your office phone with your cell for seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you deserve better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Six and 5, Grand Rapids Rise 8-4. Omaha Supernovas. They both sit immediately behind Atlanta at 9-4. And Atlanta is, listen, on any given night in this league, you can get got. And it has been impressive to watch. I watched Grand Rapids against San Diego, and then Las Vegas and in Atlanta, and then didn't look the same on any of the nights. Like it did.
It's volleyball. It's volleyball. Like, yeah, it's funny because I don't know. I'm one of those that like it doesn't matter who we're playing. There's no guaranteed wins in the sport of volleyball. It really does not matter at any level. You know, there's games you should win, but that doesn't mean you will win. It's such a skill sport, right? Like the ball never stops moving.
It will find you.
You've got to intercept it, you know, and you got to. It's a really cool, graceful sport, but it is ruthless.
It was like to watch them against Columbus, and Columbus was playing at top level. They 3-1 against Columbus, got them on a high, and then here comes Vegas, and they fall to Vegas, and it was like, what is happening? Who are they? They then pick up and go and get Columbus again. And I kept saying, okay, they're going to tell me everything I need to know about them in how they handle Vegas. And they handle Vegas. So now they're on a 2-game win streak, and they come into Omaha. Omaha's in a different situation in that they got on a roll, and they started to blend, and it looked fluid. And then Atlanta came in and threw everything out the back door. Like literally just put on a high water pressure machine and flushed out the building. But it left it clean enough for them to evaluate and reassess who they are and how they were going to approach, and then they get a win in the last match. Tonight, I would imagine that everybody here has a chance to reset. Every player on the roster has an opportunity. Who are some of the players that you can look forward to and say, you know what, I expect them to not only exist, but step up?
I think our hitters in general are going to step up. I think, you know, Bert and I talked about it, but in the Atlanta match, they were really soft. They tipped a lot. They rolled a lot. You know how I feel about tips and rolls.
Yep.
Drives me up the wall,
Yep.
especially at this level. That's basically like sending a free ball. And if you're sending a free ball, they're going to shove it back down your throat. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's no way around it. You're making it too easy on them. I think our hitters are going to need to be more aggressive, and then sustained aggressiveness, not just for the first 5 points of the game, but like 25 points and then 25 again and 25 again. Like they're going to have to like sustain that aggressiveness the entire time. I think our setters and our middles, I mean, I felt like we've been blocking really, really well, right? So we obviously have to continue to be more aggressive, but I think we have to also continue doing the things that we're doing well. So our middle blockers need to continue to get good touches. Our pin blockers need to be a little bit better about blocking, you know, taking areas, making it a little bit easier on our back row to dig. But I really expect our hitters to step up today.
Through all of it, down the line has been the thing that kind of identified whether the Supernovas were having offensive success. That is still I imagine that tonight with the hitters that Grand Rapids has, that's going to be a thing. One, defending the pen, and then winning the pen offensively. What are your thoughts? How do you approach that? Because we've talked about that this is a thing that they've worked on in attacking the line and defending the line. On this night with these matchups, it seems like the pen's going to be a hot happening club tonight here at CHS.
It is, but at the same time, Grand Rapids does a really good job of setting middles in transition. And hopefully we do a good job of setting middles in transition as well, because I feel like that was something we didn't necessarily do very well,
I was
in the
going to
last
ask
couple matches.
Who does it better?
Tonight, us.
Okay.
I'm going to be bold. Tonight, us. I really, like, they've had 2 weeks to really fix stuff. They know they're going to be hosting at home. They've got to start embracing it and be a rock star team at home.
Did the announcement, there was already a target on Omaha, right? The favorite children, right? It's the favorite daughters of the Pro Volleyball Federation from the very beginning for obvious reasons, and it made sense. But did the target on the Supernovas get bigger, brighter, wider because of the announcement? Because now people know, well, one, if we get a shot at them, we better make a statement. And two, if we get a shot at them in their own building, look, if you think that you can win here, it changes everything. If Grand Rapids leaves here tonight with knowledge that they could beat get a win in this building, it makes it really easy to think about yourselves coming back and doing some work in here in May.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think every game in the arena now is a statement game. It's got to be like, it's almost like a mindset, like I think visiting teams coming in here, like we're gonna play in front of a bunch of people. We're gonna give them a show, right? Now we just need to make sure we're doing the same thing and get used to being successful. I mean, the bottom line is we got to be in the top 4. We need to win at home. We need to win on the road. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And every game from here on out is going to be an important game. Whether Bird says it is or not, I say it is because there's somebody coming for you. Like you're in second right now, and you're not like way ahead in second. Atlanta, there's somebody coming for them too. They're in first. Are they way ahead? Nope.
That could change again tonight
and
with a win, right?
We have 4 games in 1 week. You win all 4, we'll be all right. We're going to be sitting in a good spot. But if Atlanta wins, their next 4 too, then we're still in the same spot. So I think we're in that point of the season where like the wins and losses do matter. And I think we almost have to be like the Under Armour protect this house in just people come in here and be like, nope, goal is undefeated at home for the rest of the season.
Is there additional pressure on the players? Does it change preparation? Does it change kind of the conversation in games and in matches? Because again, you're a target now, you're a bigger target.
Pressure is a privilege. One of my favorite sayings, if you have pressure, it means you've earned it. Okay. I think Omaha's earned it. I mean, they've done a great job against teams. They've also not done well against certain teams, but they're going to have the target automatically because we're Omaha.
Does it help or hinder that this is only match number 2 against Grand Rapids? You've seen Atlanta several times. You've seen, there are teams that you've seen. Columbus and San Diego and Grand Rapids, you still got to see them quite a bit down the stretch.
I like the spread out. I really do. I like it spread out. I like seeing them at different times because then it's almost like benchmarks. We played Orlando, all those games so close together. Mm-hmm. I don't really like that because now what if we come in and we have to play them first? We haven't seen them for a really long time.
Right.
I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, but I do think that playing these teams spread out a little bit is a good benchmark for are we getting better? They're benchmark games where you have everybody all together at one time. There's not a lot you can change in that amount of time or get better at or execute better. So I think it's going to be with only 7 teams in the league. We could look at everything as a pro or a con, right?
That really has been the thing. That's what we like to get comfortable, right? In whatever ways we can in this, from a preparation standpoint, from an evolution standpoint. But what I've noticed in full is that tonight feels like a big game, and we like to say that it's just another game, but this feels like with number 2 and number 3, with both of them in range of number 1, somebody leaves here tonight feeling a little bit better themselves going into a 4-game stretch. Is that not fair or true?
100% true.
Yeah.
And I think on Saturday we're going to be talking. That's going to be a big game too.
Yeah. But I mean that's the thing. Tonight we'll get through tonight. But my goodness,
today is the day.
Yeah.
Tonight is the night.
Don't want to know.
And this is the one that they need to be. And Bird and I talked about focus, right? And can they focus and lock in on this one game and get it done? And then you know what? Then tomorrow we worry about the next game.
We'll put a pin there and we'll come back because I do want to get your thoughts on Coach Bird. Any of the conversations, we'll share that. We'll go through the 2 lineups and who we think is going to start on either side and get it all set up for first serve here at CHI Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Listen to DP Coach Renee Saunders on the Supernovas Radio Network.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular price athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
The pre-match hype video for the Supernovas as they take the court here and get folks in. DP Coach Renee Saunders, and 6-5 versus 8-4, number 2 in the Federation, number 3 in the Federation, and for all of the discussion. So let's talk about these two lineups and how we think they're going to line up. Give me the projected, those well thought of starting lineups that you think folks are going to line up. I know you need to wait for the lights to come on and get your eyes. There's no chance.
Can we get some light in here, DB?
Yeah,
I can't read. I can't read my cheat sheet with no lights.
Yeah.
I do like our pregame's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
if you haven't been to a game down here, you need to come to a game.
It's the best. It is the best game presentation in the Federation by a lot, and the crowd numbers don't lie. So that's why this exists the way
the
it
still
does.
pictures. It's just so pretty.
It's done well, and I like that each time we can look up at the upper level and kind of see what's happening, the different ends of it, and there's different crowds. We can see the normal the fans who come to every game, and then you see the ones that have that first match glow of, okay, what do we walk into? What do we walk into? Coach Renee Saunders, tell me about the Grand Rapids Rise.
Well, I think we're going to see Claire Chassé and Simone Abbott at the outside, 2 All-Americans, 2 great players. Pin management is going to be really important. Maren Grote and Alyssa Jensen in the middle. Grote we saw the last time. We have not matched up against Jensen yet, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Setter, Ashley Evans from Purdue is who we're expecting to see in that position. Sponsel at libero is who we're expecting to see there. And then Dimitrova on the right side, Bulgarian national team, lefty, can give you fits. Hopefully not so much. I hope that all our block work has really paid off that we've been working on, and we do a great job of setting it and then digging behind it. But it's gonna be a battle tonight, and it's gonna be fun.
It again, from our vantage and watching teams go through and get their swings, you get a pretty good idea of how folks are feeling. Again, natural movement versus other. But the hand speed, my goodness, Dimitrova can put it down.
So can Chassé.
Yeah, it's just
she just like flies through the screen. They're just, it's funny because we watch warm up and we're spoiled. Let's be honest. We have great seats.
Yeah.
We're spoiled rotten. We get to see how high they jump, how fast their arms are, how athletic they are, how great the setters are, how well they communicate with each other. Like all the fun stuff. The only thing I wish is that we were on the bench side. I love being on the bench side so we can hear what the coaches are saying. But
we asked, but they would.
I know.
Yeah, we tried. It depends on the room and the building.
Maybe one of these games will just do it to be nice to us.
Well, in Columbus, we're right there. You can see him. Orlando, we're right there.
I wasn't in Columbus either, so
yeah,
I'll
it's
be a
thing.
first timer.
Oh, it was special. Talk to me about the Supernovas and how you think they'll line up.
Based on my conversation today, it sounds like we're going to have Brooke and Betty on the outside. You know, they're the steadfast outside hitters that are going to be there, and they're the most consistent at that position, and that's kind of what you're looking for. Obviously, we have substitutions that could come in and help out if we need them, if they're a little bit off. In the middle, we've got Tori Dixon and Justina Buchkova. I've been very impressed with their blocking in our last couple matches in the Orlando and the Atlanta. Even though it seemed like nothing went right against Atlanta, blocking seemed to go pretty well for the most part. Jess is going to be at the opposite. She's back into the starting lineup. Her and Nia are so interchangeable out there. They both bring different things. They're both very good. They're both very strong. They're battling for that spot, and Jess earned it back this week. Kendall will be at the libero, and it sounds like we're going with Hilly at setter, which I was just listening to a podcast with Dr. Larry Woodman, the Max Out Mindset podcast, and they had Kelly Sheffield on, who was Sydney's college coach, and he talked a lot about Hilly and talked about how her nickname, he didn't call her this, but like in his head was Compass. And she was always pointing north and trying to get better and always had things in line, whether it's on the court or academics. And I'm like, that's so her. It's like the perfect description. I'm listening to it. And I'm like, it was a really good podcast. I'm not done with it yet, but it's just fun to hear the coaches and the college coaches' perception of how they saw that player and then how they are as professionals, if they're similar or if they've changed. And I feel like Sydney's probably pretty similar.
What does that do if you tell me that Jess Shaving-Landsman is back in the first rotation? What does that do to Nia Reed, who has come in and been a force and had some success in previous matches?
I think it's the same as – so it was funny. I asked Bird, I'm like, so what do you want the people to know?
Right.
And she was like, we have a great bunch of kids, like not kids, but a great bunch of players, a great bunch of athletes that love to compete. And literally it's a whole roster of great players. And if she could, she would literally have like Supernova purple and Supernova pink and then just rotate them through because they're all good enough to start. Every single one of them. So maybe Nia doesn't get the start, but maybe things don't go great for, Jess and they have to make a substitution. Like, Nia's been clutch in the last couple matches, so it's not like she can't do it. Paige Briggs has been phenomenal. She said Gabby Thompson has been phenomenal as she's our backup libero. She's had a great couple weeks. And then Sophie Davis is our backup middle. She said she's another one that they could just throw out there and be good to go. So
Nate has been phenomenal.
She has. And they're very different, again. But what Coach Bird is so good at is she's so good at communicating the starting lineup to the players individually as a group so they understand why decisions are made, but they also understand that at any moment their number could get called. And there's times where you say be ready and you don't use them. There's a lot of times you say be ready and we use them. I don't know if I've watched quite a few games, and I don't know if they've been
Other than Atlanta, I think
any team goes as deep as we do in our bench on a regular basis. Like Bird trusts it, and Bird has a good vibe on when things are going well and when some things need to change.
Coach, I need those 3 keys to the game.
Oh man, she flipped them on me a little bit. So, but I really like goal number 1. Guess what it is? You want to guess?
What's number 1?
Attack mode. Attack. We cannot tip and roll. That was her number 1. That was not my number 1, even though I told her that would be my number 1.
Right. Well done.
So that was her number 1 key to victory. Number 2, clean execution of the game plan on defense and on offense, especially managing their pin hitters, and then transitioning and creating offense out of that defense. And then number 3, what do you think it is? It used to be number 1.
Passing.
First contact.
First
serve and
contact
pass.
is everything. First contact is everything. It's going to be a big night. Listen, Coach, we are about 60 seconds from closing this thing out. You want to give your fashion report now? You want to save it until till we go to the big broadcast.
We can wait. We'll hold it out.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because the Rise, I kind of like their uniforms.
Yeah, I it's Atlanta colors. They held true. I thought they would go with Detroit colors, but they went with Atlanta colors. I don't know. I was hoping for
they have
the faded,
fire.
Yeah, I thought the faded blue was going to happen. Listen, jump over to the Ticket FM app. Jump over to the Supernovas app. Catch the full call here. Of course, we will meet you back here on the stream in full for the post-match show and let you know how it went. But it should be a good one. 6-5, Grand Rapids Rise. The 8-4, Omaha Supernovas. I'm TP. Coach Renee Saunders, appreciate you hanging out with us for the pre-match. Now we'll jump over and get to work. Real action, real pro volleyball action coming up from Omaha, Nebraska. Grand Rapids, Omaha on the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket FM.
Life is all about balance. So how about a little sweet and a little heat to make your week?